Hey guys and gals, this is Alex Olson with Xchange Commercial Real Estate here in Kansas City. Let's get back into the multifamily minute where I want to hear about your 1031 exchange or if you're an active buyer in the Kansas City marketplace, especially if you're looking at the multifamily range. So here we go. Let's get right into it. It's been a little bit. Glad to be back. Glad to be looking at all these deals we got coming available. So what I've got here, of course, is LoopNet, which powers a lot of the a lot of the on-market deals from a multifamily standpoint here in Kansas City. One of which also showcases the location of where we're at. So it looks like there's a lot of new deals here. I've got this filtered for the last 30 days. It's been a couple weeks since I've done this. So we'll take a look here. It's not as many deals as you might think. And the good news is I am very familiar with almost every single one of these deals. I've either transacted it or helped somebody buy it or have reviewed it in the recent past. So let's get right into it. This top one right here is 2.75 million for 26 townhouses and fourplexes in Kansas City, right next to Raytown. So this is my listing. So of course I'm partial to it. However, I do think it is a great deal from a lot of different standpoints. You're getting duplexes that are massive. You're getting fourplexes that are well maintained. It does have vacancy issues, but that's nothing to do with the property condition. And so we can look at this together, but basically you're getting these fourplexes and duplexes here at around $100,000 per unit, maybe a little bit more. The duplexes are 2-story plus a basement plus a 2-stall garage on most of those. So actually, it's a great little property here. If you're needing something under 3 million bucks, you get fourplexes and duplexes for 105,000 unit. So let's take a look at that one together for sure. And I look forward to hearing from you about that one. All right, so let's move on to something else. So next up, we've got 1010 Prospect Avenue, which I'm going to zoom in here. This is in kind of the historic Northeast. Again, very familiar with this area. I have helped the current seller acquire it. I helped the past seller buy it. It's 14 units for 1.2 million. It's a good deal. They've done actually quite a little bit of work to the exterior. You can see roofs are new, parking lot's been added to. It's a good property in a location that's actually close to the proposed baseball stadium, which we'll find out, by the way, in about a month or so, well, maybe 2 months as far as where that's likely to go. But you can see it's a pretty good little property here in a great neighborhood off of 1010 Prospect, right next to downtown. Happy to look at that one with you as well. 10 or 14 units for 1.2 million. So that's a new one. This particular property here, I'm not really going to talk about too much. It's a scattered site portfolio of duplexes and fourplexes around town. Could be an interesting opportunity. We typically don't do a ton of scattered site portfolios, but happy to take down any questions you might have. Okay. So next up, let's zoom back out on here. What we got here that's new? So we covered 1010 Prospect. We covered Countryshire. Now let's look at Shelby. The Shelby Apartments. Again, I've transacted with this property in the past. It is very close to my office. So I'm going to zoom in here. Looking at where my office is over here on Main Street, Armour Boulevard and Main. Right here is where my office is. So call it 8 blocks to get to here. There's also a brand new development in this area called the Four Corners that Mac Properties. By the way, Mac Properties owns almost every single building on this street, it seems like. 6 units for 595,000. Another good opportunity to take down a property in Midtown for less than $100,000 a unit. Nice, big, open floor plans there. So that's another one you should look at for sure. Okay, if you need something that's under $1 million, it's a good opportunity to take a look at it. Enjoy the appreciation as the city center, the urban core continues to develop. Okay. Zooming back out. Again, this is all less in the last 30 days, newer stuff. Bel Air Apartments, another property I like. So this one is, let's see here, it is 24 units for 2.8 million. So 116 $117,000 per unit. 75% are renovated with luxury finishes. They all have new roofs. I know the seller of this property. It's a great property, an amazing Class A submarket of Kansas City. Something that you should definitely take a look at. I think rents are well under rented on this property compared to what we see in other properties in Overland Park. This is a Class A submarket, so you'll never have an issue selling this, never have an issue renting this. Continue to maintain this building, okay? So at first glance, you might think that's a high price per unit, but when you take a look at the numbers and the financials and where it can project out at, this is actually a really good deal. All right, that's in Overland Park, Kansas, 24 units, 2.8 million. All right, next up, I'm not going to talk about this one here at $600,000. Another property here that's on West 37th. This one happens to be close to KU Med here. Actually, I just drove by it today on my way from lunch. It's steps from KU Med. It's going to be your classic kind of colonnade brick exterior property. So you can see back here, $104,000 per unit. Not a bad price. You can see the quality and the condition of the property is maybe unrenovated for the most part, but the location really can't be beat. I highly recommend taking a look, deeper dive at this one. You can reach out to me and we can talk about what this property really can do for you. So it's 12 units for 1.25 million, little over $104,000 per unit. You can see the AC units are all on top, looks like newer roofs. So could be another pretty decent deal here to take a look at that I recommend, at least diving deeper into if you need something around the $1.2, $1.5 million mark. Okay. So that one's also new in the last 30 days. Zooming back out here. So we talked about Prospect Shelby, Bel Air. This one here, I'm not going to talk about this one. It's $300,000 in Leavenworth. This property here, I believe I may have talked about last time, 108 units in Riverside. Exterior looks pretty dang nice. It's unpriced. So we need to reach out to the brokers to kind of see where that one comes in and pencils in at. Riverside is a Class B area, maybe Class A, depending on the location and property type. But if you're needing something that's probably, I'm guessing, 8 to 12 million just by looking at it for four seconds. It's got a pool looks well conditioned. Roofs look fine. Exteriors look fine. Interiors look fine if they all look like this. So it might be even a lot higher than the proverbial $100,000, $120,000 per unit. But looks like a really nice property. Good place to park some money in a Class A, B location. Okay, next up, we're not going to talk about the rental portfolio. We're not going to talk about this one here. We've already talked about that one in the past. And then last but not least, we may have talked about this one in the past. I've seen this one floating around over the years. It is 34 units for $53,000. Pretty good basis here for this property. Location-wise, it's right on the county line between Johnson County, which is a top submarket in the entire Midwest, versus Wyandotte County, which is not quite as good, but still part of the Kansas City Metro and still producing fine. I think a person would have to come in here and really kind of what I would say called do it right, meaning go in there, get every unit up to speed as far as what you need to, and make it pretty decent. So this is a property that at $53,000 per unit, if you maintain it, organize it, rent it correctly, can be a very good income producer to you, but you've got to have the right management company on it. That's the main piece that's missing from this pie. So take a look at this one. Let me know what you think of it as well. Happy answering any questions there. There's some good value within that property. Okay, so that's everything here on LoopNet. Actually, all of those new properties I've covered all of them in the last 30 days. There's a lot to go over here, a lot of new stuff. I've got a listing on there. I've still got some other listings that are out there. Happy to provide you my my 2 cents, as well as diving into this together. Let's get some deals done here. Okay. Now, let's take a look over here at Zillow. We're going to see a lot of the same properties that we just covered. But again, there's a lot of new stuff out here that's $600,000 and above in the Kansas City Metro that's powered by the MLS. Again, here's my property I just talked about before, a little over $100,000 per unit with large duplexes and 1 and 2 bedroom fourplexes. You can see it's a well-maintained property. It does have vacancy issue, which we can address in detail with the discussion. Okay. This one right here, 1.43 million. This is a new property, new to the market, I believe. Let me make sure. I think, yeah. So this is a new to the market. This is a package of properties. It is 3 fourplexes plus a parking lot. So 12 units for 1.425 million, all kind of in this same Midtown area. You know, it's been updated at some point in the past, maybe not as new as it could be, but you could probably get some really good rents out of these properties with the right kind of TLC on it. So not a bad price per unit considering what I've sold stuff for. It does look like it probably could use some facelift and a new owner coming in there and taking this to the next level. But again, not a bad price per property here. Again, when you're looking at all these deals, yeah, they might not pencil the greatest at this point in time because of the rising interest rates. However, you're only dating the rate. You're not going to be married to the rate forever. You can refinance. We'll have to refinance within 5 years anyway, or at 5 years, most likely, unless you bring in a lot of cash, and that's fine too. Over here is another property. This is a series of duplexes and such in Grain Valley. $800,000 for, I think it's 6 units. It's a pretty good deal for Grain Valley. It's a good school district, great part of Eastern Jackson County, suburban. You know, the definition of middle America suburban is right here. You got a garage for each unit. They're large, you know, gardens. Well, actually, they're all one level kind of style units. I've lived in these kind of units myself, and they're quite comfortable, all things considered. It's not a permanent residency, but some people stay there 5, 10, 15 years. And so that's something you should take a look at. Let's see here. I'm not going to cover this particular deal. I think it's the same one we saw on LoopNet. Well, I wanted to zoom in here. Here's where Grain Valley is at. So I live Lake Lotawana here. Raytown, you saw my property. This is further east. This is pretty far eastern Jackson County. Kind of Jackson County line ends around here. But it's a good suburban school area. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. We're going to pull back out here. Oops. Get rid of that. Zoom in. All right. Now we're set. So I'm not going to talk about that one. We've got these ones here in Shawnee, Kansas. I wouldn't be surprised if this is under contract pretty dang soon. It's a series of duplexes in a house or a couple houses in Johnson County. Shawnee is a great market with a great opportunity for rent growth. So you can put the money into it and get it out is kind of what I mean by that. Looks like it has some work to do, but for the right investor could come in here and really do well. Another opportunity here is this one in Kansas City, Kansas. So I'm going to zoom in on where that's at. It's not downtown. It's not the worst part of Kansas City, Kansas. Something to take a look at here. I think, though, from my perspective, it's 8 units for over $100,000 a unit. Yes, they look nice. Could be an interesting opportunity. I still think there's probably some deferred maintenance out here. You can see these old tires look a little bit older. So I don't know if it's really worth the prime time cream of the crop price, but maybe it's close to it. If he's got or she's got $1,000 rents, could be an interesting opportunity for someone to take down that needs something around the $1 million mark. Okay. Zooming back out. Sorry about all of the zoom in and out. Okay. So again, going newest to oldest as far as the last 30 days. We talked about this one in Merriam Lane. I I believe I've covered this one in the past. Let's see, has this got the red interiors? Yeah, I've covered that one. Um, you know the story on that one. This one here in Independence, this is new construction. That's new construction. Covered this one in the past over here. This one is a package of properties in kind of the historic Northeast area. And then we've got this one here is another, this one here is back on the market, I believe, as of recent series of properties in Raytown. Not a bad price per unit. I think it's, what is it? 16 units. Yeah, 16 units for 1.4. So not a bad price per unit on a lot of different levels. Interesting floor plans, good location. Another one to reach out at me for, see what kind of room we got on price, etc. Okay. So I believe, did we cover this one up here? Yeah, so we've covered all of these new opportunities here that are on the market. Again, you're not dating the rate, you're buying the property, you're going to refinance, rates are going to go up, rates are going to go down. I think the best thing you can do is take a look at the location, the numbers that are there current, and the potential. Are you buying in a class A or B location? You're going to have the best ability to come back in a year or two and refinance, pull that cash out, and continue to go elsewhere. Rents in Kansas City continue to rise. Investors are reaching out to me about those headlines. And so we're seeing a lot of rents have risen higher than what people ever expected. So the bottom line is there's a lot of opportunity here in Kansas City. This is Alex Olson here with the Multifamily Minute. I am really glad you stopped by to take a listen, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.